All right, so let's start. Good morning, good afternoon, brothers. Welcome to our Area 3 Kickoff meeting. Thank you so much for choosing to spend an hour of your time today with us. As mentioned earlier, you may be missing some football games. As we zoom into this fall semester during a new norm, I hope that you're embracing technology to come together, utilize the resources that have been created for you, that you're thinking outside the box, trying new things, learning from mistakes, asking questions, and perhaps most importantly this year, accessing your alumni volunteers. Some of the alumni volunteers you're going to meet today. We're going to be presenting some of the virtual resources and talking about specific topics. We're here because we want to be. We want to be here to pay it forward, share our insights, stories, passions, and contribute to our legacy. Did you know that you're connected to a wealth of knowledge and experiences? AK Psi has over 290,000 members that were initiated since 1904. We currently have over 200 chapters in 4 countries. And today, unlike when I was a student brother, you have the power to connect. Our fraternity connects a diverse group of people that share 3 Greek letters. We have a bond. These relationships, this is the value that AK Psi offers. And with time and attention, these bonds become stronger. They're flexible and they can bend in storms, and they will never be broken. You're a part of something so great. Our network of brothers, there are entrepreneurs, speakers, authors, high-level executives, educators, business professionals in all industries, private, public, government, profit, nonprofit. You get my point. This is what we are a part of. My name is Andrea Nemeth, and I am a servant leader. I am currently serving as the Area 3 Vice President. In my 4th year out of 5 in college, I pledged AK Psi 29 years ago. Professionally, my career started in the field of accounting and finance, working for a number of companies in different industries. Because of the passion and skills I developed as a volunteer, I was able to transition to a career in higher education. On March 30th this year, while dealing with COVID, I started a position as a grant director at a local community college. I was not asked at the time that we were transitioning to working from home, I was not asked if I could do my job. I was asked, what do you need to be able to do your job? Today, I'm not asking if you can build and sustain your chapter, but rather, what do you need from us to be able to build and sustain your chapter? So before you get the opportunity to hear about what resources are at your fingertips this semester from our brothers that are speaking today, I would like to invite a special guest to say a few words. Our chairman of the board, Eileen Howell.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I do apologize. Our neighborhood has been having some network issues. So I'm now joining here via phone. So, but anyways, I really appreciate having.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. Just to have just a couple of minutes. Hopefully, maybe a couple of you saw my face when I was online. But I just wanted to say that I'm very honored to be your chairman of the board this year. And hopefully, I will be able to make sure that the fraternity supports all of the chapters in any way that's needed. Just a little information for people that don't know me. You have to promise not to do the math on this, okay? I was initiated in 1978 at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Yes, I am a cheesehead and a Green Bay Packer fan. And there I became the first female chapter president. I graduated with a master's in tax. That is not a 4-letter word, mind you. But I did go and work for oilfield service company, a software company, and most recently a manufacturing company. I was the lucky person who actually retired on December 31, 2019, just before all the COVID stuff hit. I have been on the foundation board and was previously on the fraternity board back in like 2001. So I've had a long history with this fraternity. In fact, my husband has been on the same journey, as he is a member of Alpha Kappa Psi as well. Again, if there's anything that you feel the board needs to look at or can assist in any way, we are more than happy to. Thank you.
Thanks, Eileen. I appreciate that you joined us today. So now let's get this
y'all
party.
have a good meeting.
Thanks. So now let's get this party started. I have the pleasure of introducing our first speaker today, our fraternity president, Thomas Tran.
Hey, Andrea. Hey, everyone. So I am actually in a car heading to Nashville. So if I see my head bobbing and weaving, it's because we're on a bumpy road. But glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation. So today I wanted to kind of go over the minimum expectations. So this has been a change to what we've been doing prior years as a result of COVID. The expectations is really our way of trying to be as flexible as we can to help navigate our student numbers, especially through these unknown times. So for this year, the new chapter minimum expectations what gives you the framework, the goals that every chapter should be focusing on for the school year. I think we have been getting questions, are we getting penalized for not completing them? The answer is no. I think every chapter, we have 200 plus chapters. There's 200 plus different ways our chapters are things that our chapters are facing. So we just want to be as flexible as we can, but also provide some guidance. We will be tracking these because that's going to give us the data that we need to understand what our chapter is doing and kind of give us a pulse touch point of what the chapters are, how they're handling the COVID situation. So this year, we're going to focus on 3 areas: recruit, engage, and retain. So in the recruit side, the minimum expectation is to complete 2 recruitments, either virtual or hybrid, in an academic year, with one being in the first term of the year, so fall or winter, if you are a quarter school. The second piece is, in regards to the recruit side, must follow the brotherhood program with potential new members. So that's it's a given. It's just making sure that we continue the program that we've built out. In regards to engagement, the third expectation is to complete a virtual event with should be when the roster should be fully updated.
Thomas, your audio cut out for
Yeah.
a little bit.
Okay. You guys.
Something tells me he went between cell towers.
Yeah. It looks
All right.
like he's going to reconnect. All
You guys
right.
hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Sorry. So I'm on a hotspot and on my phone. So I lost service on the phone, but we'll see how this hotspot works. So I guess we'll do the third expectation was in regards to engagement. So completing the virtual chapter events with 50% of members in attendance. So this can be done in one shot or in multiple events. So as a chapter, This is a cumulative number, and it's going to be based on the membership number as reported November 1st. So again, it's 50. We're looking for 50% of your members in attendance of events, and that could be either done in one event or done in multiple events. Our hope is you guys do it in multiple events. The fourth expectation is to have at least 10% of your chapter members, or a minimum of 3 if your chapter is less than 30, in attendance at a fraternity-wide session. So fraternity-wide sessions are any sessions that you are registered. If you're registering via my case event, so this counts as one. The virtual keynotes that we just had counts as one. So things like that, anything that's hosted by the fraternity, we're hoping that at least 10% of your chapter members attend those, because we do have a lot of good programming next couple months. The third area we want to focus on is retain. So the fifth expectation in that regards is to have at least 4 of your 7 core officers complete their learning plans. So once you are elected or reported in a chapter spot, you will be assigned learning plans that can be done through my case side that will help the officers kind of navigate through their position, and also provide additional information from a virtual standpoint. And last but not least, in regards to retain, meet your chapter success plan year-end size, year-end size. So when you submitted your chapter success plan, you provided your goal for this year. So our ask is you continue to do that in the midst of a pandemic. I think we're good with that. All right, so the last piece I wanted to highlight is that this year we are launching the Brotherhood Unbounded initiative. This program was launched as a result of COVID at the end of April, May last semester. Our members, AK side, and we're going to be doing a whole host of things. First, the My AK7 mobile app is now live, so please download that on your iPhones or iPhones or Android phones. That is your My Community in the palm of your hand. So you're registering for events, talking on groups, doing your learning plans. All that can be done via the mobile app. The next piece we're going to be doing is the Berkman survey. This is a expensive personality and self-assessment tool that chief level execs at Fortune 500 companies use, and it'll be free for our members. If you were at President's Academy this past January in Phoenix, we launched that survey, and chapter presidents came asking us, how can we get this from a local level? So that will be launched free for our members starting in a couple of weeks. And on top of that, with the Berkman survey, there's hundreds of reports you get access to, but there's also the other component of actually talking through some of the reports that you see and understand how to work with team members, understand your stress management and stuff like that. So with the Berkman survey, we will be providing small groups with made of volunteers to help you and walk your chapter through some of the results. In addition, we will be hosting virtual wide keynotes. So this past Wednesday, we did one for negotiating your best compensation package. So that's gonna be done on a monthly basis. It's a one hour Q&A session with executives and leaders in business and other professions. And again, that is free for all members this year. In addition, we will be rolling out something called the Institute of Business Leadership. This is in lieu of the PBLI that we host in the fall. In the spring, in the February timeframe. So because we're not doing those in person anymore, anymore for this year, we'll be hosting a version of the Institute of Business Leadership for a one-day event, and it's free for all members. So that gives you access, gives you the PBI experience to a certain extent in a virtual world. And we're going to be doing that one for this semester and one in this.
Hey, Jackie, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, not a problem.
Thomas, we lost you for a little bit, so I'm going to ask Jackie to take over.
Not least, I'm excited to announce that we will be rolling out something called the Principled Business Leadership.
All right,
Hey,
guys.
Thomas? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so guys, really
Jackie
quickly.
there, if she can jump in.
Yeah,
Yep.
so really quickly to wrap this up, guys. So you guys said, so Brotherhood Unbounded is definitely something like Thomas was saying, that we took off and we said back in March, hey, what we can do to really unite AK Psi as one, and in these times really bring it all together globally. So where he took off, he ran over fall 2020, everything that's coming down the pipeline. Make sure you have the mobile app downloaded if you don't already. I know it's made things like even me registering for this event so much easier. The Berkman survey, your presidents and such, you can ask them if they went to President's Academy last year, what a phenomenal program that is and how exciting all of them are that they get to share this with their chapters. And like he said, coming up spring 2021, just to recap it quickly because he was cutting in and out. So we do have PBI Live, but this year, since it's not going to be in person, we will be doing the Institute of Business Leadership that will be throughout the semester as well. So imagine that in the past, you weren't able to go because of studies, you still had class on Friday or cost for the chapter. Guess what? You can now do it from your dorm rooms, from your home. You can attend and you don't have to miss the Institute of Business Leadership. We are providing it from you wherever you are in the world. You can be part of the Institute of Business Leadership. With that comes the Principled Business Leadership Certificate. So the certificates are awarded to members as they achieve different milestones along their journey with AK Psi. So depending on the different competencies, on the different things that you're achieving, the different milestones that you reach, you will be provided with a Principled Business Leadership Certificate. All of this are just some of the things to come as we have so much more down the pipeline for you guys and making sure that we're still getting the best return of our investment with AK Psi. And of course, when we think about all of our values, everything that is coming down here with Brotherhood Unbounded, also continue to have your unity, your brotherhood, how we're continue to unite even more now than ever, and that we can unite from all around the world. Any questions, suggestions, anything that you might have for any of these programs, please continue to utilize your communities and post it up there that all of us are in. Your VPs, your president, myself, we're all in there. We can see all those comments and how we can continue to support each other globally. So I appreciate you guys for being with us on this morning, afternoon, or night, depending where you are in the world. So I love that. Are you having breakfast, lunch, or dinner with us? So thank you for that, for being on. Anything that you need, you can always email us. We're only an email, a text message, LinkedIn away, whatever the case may be. Thomas and I have completely, open door policy for everything AK Psi, and are always willing to listen to you guys, and the Heritage Center as well. And with that, to the Heritage Center, the MT, all of these programs that you saw in March, everybody really buckled down to say, what could we do to really make the best experience that we can for our members, student, and alumni? And these are some of the fruit of those labors. So thank you all for everything that you have done, and I'm looking forward to the much continued success of AK Psi.
Jackie, thank you so much for jumping in. Thomas, thank you for starting. I appreciate both of you. This is, one of those things about brotherhood where we definitely have each other's back. So Jackie, thank you for exemplifying that you've got his back covered all the time. Thank you, Thomas. Have fun in Nashville. So now I have the pleasure of introducing Diana Correa. She is currently serving as our Atlantic Metro Regional Director. Diana, are you on?
Yes, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
The floor is all yours.
Fantastic. I'm in the great state of New Jersey, so I think the audio should hold up. As Andrea said, my name is Diana D. Correa. I'm the Atlantic Metro Regional Director. So really what that means is I work with a set of fantastic volunteers to help guide, give advice, counsel, you name it, questions to answer for the New York City, New Jersey, Philly, and Delaware schools. And I see a lot of those faces on this call today. Thank you. David, I'm actually, if you could unshare your screen, because I'm actually going to do a little walkthrough for everyone. Thank you. Let's see how this is going to go. Perfect. Can everyone see my screen? I see Andrea nodding her head. Perfect.
Yes.
So I'm going to talk about my AKSI. And so to back up a little bit, Thomas talked about a lot of great things, and I'm going to touch upon some of those things here right now. If you have any questions about those things and execution or anything like that, very much urge you to reach out to your chapter advisor, to your volunteers, to your RDs for answers to those questions. Starting off, my AKSI, the community. So if you go in and the slide that David was sharing has the link to it, it's going to take you to this page to log in. It is going to be your username, usually your school email with .myAKSI. That part of it is super important to log in. Your password. If you have any questions about logging in, if you're struggling or anything like that, you need to reset your password. Contact community support at aksi.org because they can help you log in. Once you log in, it's going to take you to this home screen. It's got a few tabs up here, so I'm going to walk through some of those things. So Thomas mentioned some upcoming fraternity events that are happening. That would be under the events tab. So once you click on this events tab here, it's going to show you all of the events that your chapter brothers can register for. So like this event here today, it's right here. So you could go in, find any events that are up and coming, click on the event like I just did, and it will take you to the page to register for it. So you'll see an overview of what the event is, what it's going to be discussed. You might see a tab about speakers, so all of us who will be talking here today. And then where you can click here, it's closed right now because the event is currently happening, but when an event is up and coming, you can click on register to register for that event. And you'll get an email confirmation saying that you've registered for that event. So Thomas mentioned, for minimum standards, minimum expectations, excuse me, being able to have and create events for your brothers down the road, you'll be able to actually create an event for your chapter brothers all in one place so they can register for that. And see the attendance for that, and any fraternity keynotes, future area calls, all that stuff will be here under the events tab. I'm going to now talk about under my AKSI, some of the options that are for you. So if you go into, and I think Thomas talked about this, my groups, that's a place where you can find for your chapter position. If you're an officer, you can go in. For example, if you're a treasurer, you can go into the treasurer group, and that's where all of the chapter treasurers are all in this group, and where you can all share advice with each other, talk to each other, communicate tips and tricks. You can talk in here related to your officer position. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is the My Learning tab. So under my AKSI, click on My Learning. And you might have gotten an email about this already, but here are a couple of educational pieces for all of you. So if you are a chapter officer or if you are a volunteer, this is the place for you, because under learning tracks, you'll see president, secretary, VP of admin. Every core officer position has what's called a learning track. So you can go in, for example, if you're chapter president, click on that, and it's got a set of educational pieces for you. And I think it's this one, let's give it a sec, where you can go in, complete a series of activities. So it'll give you a breakdown of the different things that you as president need to know, need to be working on for your chapter to be successful this year. If you go back a sec. And if you're the same thing with being a volunteer, if you're a chapter advisor, you can click on this chapter advisor learning track, and it'll have a roadmap for you with And I think for this and for the other officer positions, it's a month-by-month breakdown of what you should be focusing on and what you should be helping your chapters with. On the other side of things, if you are looking to increase your skills in a certain topic, for example, if you're looking for a topic on coaching, like a chapter advisor, if you're an officer and want some more advice on coaching, that's a topic here that you can get more knowledge on. If you want to learn about exploring your passion, that's here for you too. So different learning plans are available for you. And then if you are in these learning tracks and they mention something specific, like if they mention chapter bylaws, the place to find that, it's all under this next tab, knowledge base. So if you click into knowledge base, there are a bunch of already pre-inputted topics that you can drill down into. For example, if you have some questions and you know the answer to governance question, the answer to that is in your bylaws, in AK size bylaws, it's a governing document. You would click into governing document. They're all listed here. You can click on bylaws, and then right here on the side is that file of the bylaws. On the other side of things, if you know, for example, oh, I need to find the facilitator guide, and it's already here because I've looked for it before, you can type in Bridge to Brotherhood Facilitator Guide, easy search, and you'll find it right here. There's that PDF. Takes 2 seconds to find, and the answer to whatever question you have is right there. And David, if you could go back to sharing your screen, please. I'm going to stop sharing. Perfect. If you could go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So as Jackie said, the AKSI app, definitely urge you to go either, if you have an iPhone and Android, go in, download this app. I find it to be super convenient because if I get an email about an AKSI event that's coming up, like that negotiating a compensation package, I don't need to wait to go home to get to my desktop or try to get my internet to load to register for that event. You can do that through the app. It's super quick, it's super easy. It takes 2 seconds and then it's done, you're all set for that event. And now I'm going to, I know I went through that pretty quickly. I'm gonna switch it over to Coral now. Coral Peterson is our chapter educational resource coordinator. I know my chapters, my volunteers, whenever I'm telling you to email Coral about something, that's this person right here. So Coral, go ahead.
So I'll talk about some general operations plans for this year, like Eileen and Thomas touched on earlier. The Heritage Center board volunteers all really came together to see how we could make everything work in a virtual environment. So we wanted to be very upfront with you guys on what kind of situation we're in. So as you can see on here, we are in a budget deficit going into this semester. We were able to reduce fees for chapters, but only by so much, but we want to be very upfront with you guys about why that is. So we did give more information about our budget. You can find more information about it on our website. But dues were reduced by 10%, which brings it down to $54 per person. Insurance, we were able to negotiate that to be reduced as well, so it's $27 per person. As a reminder, for insurance, that's based on your spring numbers. So if that number looked a little weird to your chapter, it's because it was based on how many members you guys had on March 1st, plus any pledges or initiates that you had in the spring as well. And then convention savings plan was planned to be increased to $350 this semester, but it's going to remain at $250 for the fall term. Another reminder with all of our finances is that we are not doing any late fees until after November 30th. So that does give you guys a little bit more flexibility. So if you have brothers that are struggling to make payments, you have a little bit more flexibility to give them payment plans. Where you would have normally had to collect that payment by October 15th, it gives you a month and a half of extra time. If you're not sure how to set up a payment plan so that your chapter is still able to get any credits from us in time and things like that, reach out to me. The date for credit change for changes to your roster to receive credit is still November 1st. So you have to keep that in mind when you're setting those deadlines for the payment plans. So feel free to reach out if you have more questions about that. And another thing is, if you guys haven't already changed the amount that your dues will be on the chapter side, because you should hopefully not have to pay as much for chapter events in a virtual environment, you should be adjusting the chapter's dues as well as much as possible to make it more attainable for members. And last but not least, as Thomas said, we're not having PDLI in person, so you don't have to put as much money aside to save for traveling or hotel costs there, because it will be included in your dues this semester. If you have anyone that wants to go that didn't pay dues, or they're on LOA or a situation like that, they will be able to pay to attend those as well. And then, David, if you can go to the next slide. So we know that it's really hard sometimes to find some of the resources. We have a lot of resources out there, but there tends to be so many that it's hard to find certain things. So pretty much everything is in this virtual chapter operations guide. There's links to every other resource that you would need. I would recommend logging in to the community first before you click on any links in here, because it's going to take you to the knowledge base to find those resources. But in here, it's categorized. So if you need to find something about risk reduction, you need to find something about a fraternity event, or something about a bridge to brotherhood, you can pretty easily find it in there based on which position you have or things like that. And then next, David Greenberg will talk to you guys. He's the Northern Atlantic Regional Director, and he'll talk more about some individual resources that are in that.
Thank you, Coral. So as Coral mentioned, I'm the Northern Atlantic Regional Director, which means I oversee the chapters from half of upstate New York, New England, and the United Kingdom, because we are a global/international fraternity. And what I linked here on these slides are 4 particularly valuable resources that you can use to help plan virtual recruitment and pledging for this semester and for this spring as well. So we have a virtual recruitment guide, which you'll find in the knowledge base, a virtual pledging guide, which you'll find in the knowledge base. The Road chapter at University of Washington put together a potential new member guide that you can adopt for your own chapter. And they actually did a just under hour-long virtual recruitment session where they explained what they did this past spring and how they were able to be successful even in a COVID world. So I linked all those for you there. But rather than do a presentation to you about these things, because I know that a lot of chapters have already done recruitment or are in the middle of recruitment, I want to lead more of a discussion. So I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen so we can all see each other for a second. And what I want to do to start off with is if everyone could put them in the chat, one event they've done so far for recruitment that they thought was really successful, or if you haven't done recruitment yet, one event that you're really excited about. Put that in the chat, and I would love to sort of get a conversation going off of that so we can share ideas as well. So again, think about a recruitment event that your chapter has done that is successful or that you're excited about, and put that in the chat. So we got Meet the Bros, alumni interviews, an alumni panel. So as people are putting in the chat, Nora, would you want to tell us a little bit about how you guys actually executed the Meet the Bros?
Hi, yeah. So we just kind of put on a Zoom link, and we had a bunch of brothers join. And I think first and foremost, what was most important to us was making sure that whenever someone new joined, they didn't feel intimidated because everyone else in the room knows each other and they're just kind of like stepping in. So what we would do is we just be like, oh, hi, Crystal. My name's Noor. How are you doing today? And then we just started asking questions, and everyone would just answer. It'd be something so simple like, what genre of music do you listen to? Just a chance for them to get to know everyone in the fraternity and that we're students just like them. Yeah.
Awesome. So I see a lot of different ideas about like games like Wheel of Fortune. Someone did a game night NBA style. Does anyone want to talk about like a game night that you guys are doing and how you guys executed that? I'm curious especially about the NBA style and what that means.
So that was my chapter. Basically, if anyone has gone to like the virtual games for NBA, you have to sign up through Microsoft Teams, and it kind of puts everyone in the same room, kind of, instead of Zoom. And basically, they cut out, and it seems like you're sitting next to each other. And we have one screen where the game is happening, and the other where you guys are all in the same room. We're still trying to figure out how to get that to work, but it's been going pretty successful so far.
Very cool. Also, see, Justin mentioned that you guys did a diversity in the workplace panel and had alumni talk about their experiences. I think that's a really cool way of sort of spinning the traditional alumni panel, because certainly diversity is always important, but in particularly right now, I think there's a lot of focus on that, obviously. So, Justin, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it was actually for one of our rush events. We had a bunch of our rushies come out, and we kind of just had an open kind of discussion, like PowerPoint presentation about how diversity is kind of changing in the workplace. And then we had, I think, 4 alumni come back and talk about their experiences and kind of like the resources that their company provides, and how their like companies are now taking a step in the right direction, but there's still a long way to go. So that was kind of like the tone of our panel.
Excellent. Thank you, Justin. I see a couple of different internship panels. So Marvin mentioned that. Julie mentioned that. Do you guys want to talk about the internship panel a little bit and how that went?
Sure, I can start. We haven't actually done it yet since our event is later this week. But basically, I'm the president of the chapter at Northeastern, and at Northeastern we have this program called CoOp where you work full-time for 6 months, usually 2 or 3 times throughout your college years at Northeastern. And so what we're doing is inviting our senior brothers who have done like 1 or 2 internships to speak at a panel where we'll talk about like how they went through the application process, what they learned from their experiences. And we try to bring in brothers of different majors. Like we're going to have an engineering major, computer science, business, just to show like the diversity that AKSI has with accepting people of all majors.
Yeah, I love that, especially that the diversity of all majors is really key to show off that we're not all accounting and finance people, right? So I'm glad that you're doing that as well. I'm curious, Marvin, did you guys already have your internship panel, or is that something you guys are planning for the future? Because you mentioned that as well.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so we already had our internship panel. It was this past week. And it's usually like a tradition that we do every semester. And what we do is we get a bunch of our brothers that had an internship over the summer, and they talk about their experiences, what they learned, not just what they learned, but how they got the internship. And we try to provide a little bit of value for the rushes by kind of like giving them some guidance on how they can get internships and how they could land their interviews.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So I think the theme here is that a lot of things that you've done in the past, in person, meet the brothers, game nights, panels with the alumni or internship panels, you can still do all that stuff virtually and it's successful, right? And that's really the big takeaway here, is that you have to be a little bit more creative on how to do it and the execution of it, but it's all possible still, right? So whether you are done with recruitment, whether you're in the middle of recruitment, or whether you're just about to start recruitment for this semester, have that confidence that what you're going to do and what you've done in the past can be adopted to this new virtual world. And the same thing really goes for pledging. Certainly you have to be creative with pledging, and the virtual pledging guide will help you do that. So I'll share my screen again. So we have this virtual pledging guide that will sort of give you some guidance on how to adopt Bridge to Brotherhood to the virtual world. But a lot of the same things will still work, right? You can still do, these educational meetings with your pledges. You can still do virtual events with your pledges. You can even do, if you choose various electives, you can adopt those virtually. So I know, like, for example, one of the bigger electives is like a kids competition. That's one that has a lot of elective credits on it. You can still do something along those lines and do it virtually. So what I want to do also is open it up to any questions on virtual recruitment or virtual pledging that you all might have. So feel free to either just unmute yourselves and talk, or feel free to put it in the chat as well. But does anyone have any questions on virtual recruitment or virtual pledging that we can potentially answer here? Because you have a wealth of knowledge in this Zoom room right now between everyone, both volunteers and students. All right. Well, if there are, oh, so Olivia just said she doesn't have a question, but would like to talk about a platform we've used that I think others might like as well. Olivia, you have the floor. Please tell us.
Hi, everybody. So I'm the president of the Chi Zeta chapter at NJIT, and this semester our school has required everything to be virtual. We can go to classes in person, but all club events have to be virtual. So they introduced us to this platform called Airmeet, and the way Airmeet works is it puts everybody into you look like you're at a conference room with a bunch of tables, and you can select a table and go and just talk to the people who are there. So, in a 100-person group, you can talk to just 8 people at a time. And then we can also go into what they call sessions where someone could give a presentation. So like what Marvin was saying for our alumni night, we had our panelists up and they were talking, people could ask questions in the chat. And then afterwards we went into a networking session where the panelists were at different tables and the rushes could come and join the tables that they were interested in, make sure that they were meeting everybody, and it is completely free. It was a really great way to, even though you have a lot of people, you can all kind of create those really personal connections. We had quite a few new people come out to check out our club this semester, or our organization this semester, and I really think using Airmeet allowed us to entice people to come back. You're not intimidated by having to talk in front of 30 people. You really only have to you could even just talk to one person. And they also offer virtual networking, where if you choose to go in there, it takes everybody, matches people up, you have 2 minutes to talk, and then it switches it up and gives you somebody else. So that was just something we use that I think a lot of chapters might also like to use. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Thank you for sharing, Olivia. That's awesome. Does anyone else have anything else that they want to share that they've used that they found useful so far during recruitment? Or any other questions that people might have? Yes, Corliss put in the chat on the topic of recruitment. When you do have pledges, please make sure to report them within 7 days of induction onto Chapter Spot. That way we can keep on track of who actually is going to be joining your chapter. And on the note, if there's no other comments or questions on the topic of recruitment or pledging, I'm going to turn it over to our Eastern Great Lakes Regional Director, Courtney P. Ball. Maybe not. Courtney, are you here?
Yeah, Courtney, are you there? There she is.
Courtney, if you're hearing you're talking, you may be on mute.
Can everybody hear?
There's an echo. I'm not sure if your computer's also still on.
I'm running away from my computer. It wasn't working.
She's on the move.
Sorry about that, everybody. I knew that was going to happen, though. It always happens. It works right until you have to speak, and then it doesn't work anymore. So with that said, I'm going to get started with chapter development series. So Area 3 is going to be doing a series of additional education for anyone who has specific areas of that they want to discuss further. So as of right now, we have one set up for Tuesday, September 29th at 8 p.m. And it's going to be very, very similar to the previous town halls that we've done. So We're going to have one meeting where everyone's going to be a part of it for just a few minutes. We're going to go through how the event's going to go, or how the meeting's going to go, and then any tidbit information that you need to know, and then we'll do 4 breakout rooms. So as of right now, the 4 breakout rooms that we have is finance, virtual events, rituals and risk management, and member engagement. With that said, you can see all of the topics that we're going to discuss in each of those breakout rooms. David, can you go to the next slide? With that said, we have more. This is going to be a series. So we're going to have more of these Zoom calls in the future. So if everyone can just take a minute and let us know what other topics you would like us to cover. If you could just put them in the chat, please feel free to use more than, or submit more than one topic. I'll give you guys about a minute and a half to do that. Go ahead. Volunteers, I expect you to submit things too. It's a good one, Alex. Thank you. I'm gonna give 30 more seconds. Okay, so thank you so much for those who sent in comments. Andrea is recording this, and we'll be able to send it and disseminate it to myself, David, and Diana. So we'll continue with the series. With that said, the one for the 29th will be on the community for you guys to register starting hopefully tomorrow, right, Andrea? All right, within the week. How's that sound? Within the week. Perfect. Okay. And we will also be emailing out to all of you and to your executive boards, to all members are invited, not just executive board members, but we will be emailing this out to executive boards to let you guys disseminate that information. So please feel free to come, and it's going to be a smaller group of individuals than what this call is. So please feel free to, it's going to be more collaborative and going through what other chapters are doing for, let's say, fundraising, right? If one chapter has a great fundraising opportunity that other chapters could mimic, it would be fantastic for you guys to be able to collaborate in that way. So that's kind of the purpose of this. With that said, does anyone have any questions for me on the chapter development series?
Are there any questions at this point?
Just a quick one. Hi, this is Nora. If we do come up with more ideas, is there an email that we can reach you at?
Absolutely. So actually, why don't you feel free to, if anyone has any additional ideas, please send it to Diana, David, myself, or Andrea, your respective RDs, or acting RD in Andrea's case. Okay?
Thank you.
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that.
Yep, that was very good.
And it doesn't have to be just now. Even if you have an idea in a month from now, please feel free to send it then, because after we go through these 4 sessions, even if there was something on, let's say, finance that wasn't corporate sponsorship, right, is a small portion of finance. But if you wanted to take a deeper dive into corporate sponsorship, right, we can do another session specifically on corporate sponsorships too. So please feel free to do that. David, can you do me a favor since I'm on my cell phone? Can you put my email address in the chat for me? Thank you. Oh, with all the hoopla of my lack of Wi-Fi working, I didn't tell you guys what I'm the regional director of. I'm Eastern Great Lakes. My region is Western New York, Western and Central Pennsylvania, and Northern West Virginia. So if you're a school that falls in there, I'm your girl. Okay, David, can you go to the next slide for me? All right. So in closing, we wanted to put this quote up. So with Brotherhood, you are not alone in a world unknown. I know there's a lot of volunteers that are currently on this call with all of the students. We are all here, as Andrea said, because we want to be. We have knowledge and networks and real world experience that we're all here to help you. At the end of the day, we're going to get through this together. It's a little crazy out there, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the bonds of brotherhood is what's going to get us through this. We're going to help the chapters that need help right now. We're going to have the chapters that are high functioning be at their best functioning through this. All of this, as much as it's difficult, it's still an opportunity for all of us to show off not only how amazing Alpha Kappa Psi in general is, but highlight the individuals within your chapter and within volunteers to be able to be the best that we can be. Not just because of COVID, but I don't know. We're going to get there. It's all that matters. We got this, right?
We are, Courtney. That was a great wrap up.
Yeah. You already asked, does anyone have any questions?
So?
The silence means no, right?
Silence. And we are at 1:55 p.m. We are less than an hour.
Even an old guy like me wears an AK side t-shirt.
Hey, I've got AK side too.
Yeah, but I'm guessing I might be the oldest one on this call.
I don't know, Alex. Maybe.
You know what? I take that with,
I'm getting there.
I'm like, I can't wait to be the oldest one on the call, like, and that I'm still involved in everything. So if that's the case, I love it.
I was gonna share all of my peacock thing, all those things that we collected from all the years. I think the first one I ever got was in 2000 when PBLI, they were Success Institutes. So there's a long history here. Alex, we've got a lot of history. We've got insight, knowledge, right? All of this. So as mentioned, continuously during this call, Guys, you have the opportunity. We are a resource to you. You know, in addition to the guides that you get online, we are a resource. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Find us on LinkedIn. Reach out to Diana or anyone else that's on this call if you need any assistance. And you know, most importantly, have fun with whatever you plan this semester. Have fun. Don't take things too seriously. We all understand the stresses that you're going through and the changes that you're dealing with. So make certain that you're having fun. And if you need someone to talk to, remember, Zoom, you can have one-on-one conversations, you can have small groups, you can have larger groups. So there's a lot of flexibility. Thank you for sharing your ideas today. I think we're going to be considering Airmeet. I think that's a great idea. And to everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I look forward to seeing you on September 29th when we start our Area 3 Chapter Development Series.